last year was the review of our ecosystem structure itself by reviewing our bylaw, a process by which you, as the community, you have provided us feedback on how the organization must be governed. This has led to a new bylaw adopted in January this year, which has introduced few changes, like reviewing the size of our board, removing the alternates from the board, and adding 2 non-regional directors to the board, which allow the board to identify people who can add value to the group in terms of special skill or special experience. We have also added a new membership category, which allow non-operators, meaning organizations that don't use number resources from Afrinic, to become member, either as organization or even individual people. Those changes allow us to adjust the way we operate to the reality and also integrate feedback we got from our member and the community in general. The last year, we then look a little bit deeper into this and identify 3 key objectives for the organization in the long term. Those objectives were based in 3 things. First, the relevance of the organization. Afrinic must work and ensure that in the long run, we stay and continue to be relevant for the community. Second element is the efficiency of our services. And third, our resiliency to be able to adjust to the environment change, but also to the organization itself. Those 3 elements constitute the core of our objective. And around them, we have identified 4 other operational elements that can help us achieve those 3 elements. Registration service efficiency, community development, core infrastructure efficiency, and global support to global infrastructure. So I will take you through all those 4 key elements and see how we are doing in each of them. For us, registration service effectiveness also means our financial sustainability, because that is what allows us to continue to provide the service that we have been created for, which is registration and management of number resources. This year, the budget approved by the board is about $3.5 million as operational budget, which will allow us to continue the organization structural change, but also continue developing products and tools that can help the community interact with Afrinic, but also address some service issue. However, the finance and accounting department face some challenges. One of them being the collection of fee from member. We have had in the past several challenges and difficulty collecting membership fee. And that impacts the organization inevitably. So this year we start to reinforce the accounting department by providing a dedicated resources for billing and collection. We have also completed the project we have started last year to integrate our billing system to MyAfriNIC, which is the portal used by member to interact with our registration service in general. That allow us to avoid delay between payment and information provided in MyAfriNIC, but also allow member to pay using credit card in MyAfriNIC and being able to pick that in the billing system automatically. In terms of registration service, we have the core function itself, which is number resource management. Early this year, we started end of last year, review the process of number resource registration as whole. That led us to few changes in the registration service, more specifically IP address analyst team, how the process works. We have removed different bottlenecks, and that has also bear some fruit. We have also started publishing key information related to registration service. Since January, all the statistics related to our ticketing queue are now dynamically published, so member can follow the performance of the registration service as whole, but all other ticketing queue, meaning anything related to interaction with our member service are published. We have also worked on a service level commitment that will be also released after this meeting and published to support our commitment to deliver a quality service to our member. This statistic shows how all those measures has impacted our membership growth over the past 5 months. We have seen roughly between 20 and 40% growth from 2012, comparison between 2012 and 2013 in our monthly membership. However, we still have an issue in completing the process. From the number of requests that we received this year for membership and address allocation, only 70% of them have reached the end of the process. The other 30% are still at the member level for payment or for registration service agreement. So in order to resolve that as well, we have introduced, for instance, the ability for member to only use electronic version of the registration service agreement instead of sending it by courier. Because one thing we have done as well is that we have developed a member feedback right after the process to request member to tell us exactly what how they feel about the process and what they expect from us in terms of improvement. And one of the issues that was recurrent is to use electronic document. Of course, Afrinic being in Mauritius, we have an electronic transaction act that allows us to deal with member with using electronic document, but that is not the case in all countries. Sometimes it's difficult, it's a bilateral agreement for certain country to accept that. So what we have done, we have add a notification asking the member if they agree to interact with us electronically. If they agree, then we can allow them to do that. This process will continue, in fact, and be fully integrated in MyAfrinic in the coming month, so that MyAfrinic become a real repository for member in terms of document. We have also started developing a new registration portal that will allow member to go through the first step of providing information to Afrinic for address request to be interactive as possible, whereby member will be asked questions which will determine which category they fell in, which kind of document we can expect from them upfront, so that they can provide those documents when filling the form at the beginning. We provide them information as well about the address planning and tool that can help them to do the planning in the registration form right away. Give them an idea of how much it will cost them to request the resources that they need. So that will ease the interaction between the host master or the IP analyst and the member up front, because they will not need to go back to them and ask them several additional questions, because most of them will have been addressed in the registration portal. That is for registration service efficiency. Many other activities are going on, and tomorrow there will be more detailed update on that during the AGMM. Community development, we have also continued building our community, because the role of the community is critical in what we do. Several initiatives, a training activity, reviewing the training material to introduce new topic in the training. We are also working on training program for decision maker, not only public in the public sector, but also in a private company, how to help organizations understand the real importance or role of IP numbers in general in their strategy. We have launched few services last year, and we start developing training around those services as well, RPKI, DNSSEC, and routing registry, which will be launched after this meeting. We have also started experimenting, having localized small awareness meeting in country. We started the experience a few years ago in Sudan, but this year we have revived it, and Tunisia was one of the countries where we experiment this, and we want to put more emphasis in that region, North Africa, but also in region where we notice that the interaction with us is very low, like Central Africa, so that we engage more the community in those regions. We have also worked on a new portal for the training, where we will have a repository of all our training activity from one point, and that will allow us as well to experiment few tools that we are developing for online training and remote training session. A new portal will be released as well for IPv6 as a repository for everything we do in terms of IPv6. In our program to reinforce our community, we also travel. We travel a lot around the continent, not only in the region, but also globally, to attend other area meetings, to showcase what we are doing in our region. ITU, ATU, and various intergovernmental organizations, in order to, one, showcase what Afrinic is doing, but also build capacity around number resource management and present the real fact, because we have noticed that in some of those meetings, facts are presented, but not the real and accurate fact. The importance for us to be present and ensure that the right information is out there is critical. Core infrastructure, we have started since last year to transition all our infrastructure to a virtualized environment. This has continued and will continue till the end of this year. We will continue to develop few tools around services we have launched last year, such as RPKI and DNSSEC. And we have also put a little bit effort in our routing registry project, and the project is almost ready now to launch the testing phase for the public, and I think more information will be given on that tomorrow morning during the member service update. One goal for the core infrastructure is also to develop or to deploy a, a good practice in the way we develop and release our project by having a clearly separate development, testing, QA, and production environment. That will allow the team to be more at their ease working on the different projects, but also mitigate all the risks that can happen with the final product. We are also going to launch soon a dedicated department for research and development. This will help us focus on few activities and new idea that we are having in order to provide the community more information, more analysis on the situation on ground. And this whole core infrastructure project are led by Neria and Alain. I don't know if they are in the room. Global infrastructure, this is something that we have been engaged in for the past 5 years by trying to provide our support where needed in order to reinforce the internet infrastructure. This involves contribution to exchange point development program. We have formally joined the Axis project this year with Isaac by providing resources for the training activity that they are doing. But at the back, we come with other added value services, such as deployment of root server, copy at those exchange points. And we have also deployed our own Anycast DNS service, which allow us not only to provide resiliency to our own DNS infrastructure, but also allow CCTLD to host their DNS service on our infrastructure. We are also working with RIPE NCC to deploy and join their RIPE Atlas project, and this is going very well, and soon we will have a formal agreement with RIPE, and the information and data collected from that project will be definitely used and made available to the community for different research. And this is led by Nishal and Alain. Afrinic at glance, just to summarize, how does the organization look today? We have 37 full-time staff at work today from 13 different countries. So you can imagine the challenge as well to make all those different cultures work together. We are serving today 1,200 members, including legacy resource holder. We have allocated about 500,000 IP addresses this year, and we are seeing more and more increase in the size of requests that are coming our way. As you all know, of course, Afrinic still hold 3.7/8, so we are the area that has the biggest number of IPv4 remaining in our pool. But with the trend we are seeing in terms of requests, this can be seen as a huge number, but we believe that this will, there is a chance that this being consumed faster than we will think. Right now we have more than 350 IPv6 allocation or assignments in the region, which represent around 30% of our members who are at least active members, who at least have an IPv6 allocation. That doesn't mean that all of them announce them and all of them are visible on the internet. We have planned training in 20 countries this year, various training, number resource, IPv6 and IPv6 training for manager. All this can be seen on the new training portal at learn.afrinic.net. All of this don't happen without some challenges. The transition from a very small organization to an organization that want to address more challenges or want to meet the expectation from the community requests a structural change, as I mentioned originally. But one of our challenges is to continue to have those structural change in a smooth manner so that it does not impact the service that we provide to you as community and the stability of the core of the service that we are here for, which is number resource management. We have noticed a big gap between decision maker and technical people in terms of IP address in general and internet infrastructure in our region. We believe that if we manage to bring the knowledge, the understanding at the top layer of decision making, it will help a lot in implementing standard and good practice that we promote all around. So it is something that will have a direct effect on ground. So we are trying to find the right approach, the balanced approach, to take the message to decision maker, both from the public sector and the private sector. Because IPv4 is running out all over the world, we are also feeling the pressure from organizations in other regions where IPv4 has already exhausted, coming in our region to request number resources. And that requests the number resource management team and the whole organization to pay more attention to those requests and be very precise in the due diligence process. Hiring is another big challenge that we have. Although we have a plan to develop the organization, to implement our new structure, we have challenge finding talented people who are ready to live where they are right now, working in a good environment, and join Afrinic by relocating or adhering to our organizational culture, which is based on service to the community. In our policy, it is 3 months normally to start a recruitment process to the end, but in reality, it takes us more than 3 months, almost 6 months, and even more sometimes, to finalize a recruitment. And sometimes you finalize, you get the person 2 days before he joined, he just say, oh no, when I resign, I get a better offer, so I'm not moving anymore. You move to the second person, same thing, until probably the 4th person, and every time we have to start. So it is a real challenge that is impacting our ability to quickly adjust the organization and quickly implement all the projects we have in mind. But we are working hard to address those challenges one by one in order to bring the organization to where we want it to be. In conclusion, of course, internet has grown, the community has grown, and inevitably, the expectation from Afrinic has also grown. We had a very challenging year in 2012 with all those changes. We believe that that vision that we had in 2012 worth implementing, because we start seeing already in 2013 some effects of those changes. And we will continue the transformation of the organization in order to match the expectation from the community, but also to ensure the sustainability of Afrinic as organization, but as community. On this, thank you. I'll be happy to answer some of your questions. Thanks.